Hello friends, good morning. Well, today we will be discussing about the forging industry's process flow as such and what are the various activities with respect to quality management systems and the technical aspects involved in the manufacturing of forgings. Well, you may find it bit different from normally what presentations you have been seeing about in various seminars or conferences and all that. The entire data which I will be talking to you is through hardcore sort of an experience in the forging industry. Now let us start. How the forging industry works, what are the various processes involved, and the sequence of operations. There are certain daily checks and half yearly checks and yearly checks as far as the upkeep of the equipment is concerned, and so as to give you the consistent quality of forging at all the time. Now it starts like this. In fact, there is a forging steel yard. These billets are in the form of round corner sections or diameters measuring about a length of around 5.5 to 6 meters in length. These are stored in the dedicated areas meant for that particular specification in a typical forging industry. And the subsequent operation is that these are taken up for cutting, and as per the component which you want to forge, a unit cut length is decided, and the cutting operation starts. Now, strict discipline has to be followed as far as this particular steel yard is concerned, because if it happens that there are some mix-ups which are quite have an hazardous effect as far as the component life or the process response is concerned. Now, when I say that this is something which is to be a strict discipline has to be followed up, in the sense that there has to be a earmarked places for the various specifications, clearly identifying the grades on that. Now, as you know, in the typical forging industry, in fact, there are three different routes of manufacturing forgings. One is the hammer route, and the second one is the upsetter route, and the third one is press route. Now, the essential difference in hammer, press, and upsetter is that in hammer and presses, the cut blanks are fully heated up, while in the upsetter manufacturing process, there is what we call it as partial selective sort of a section of a bar is something which is taken for cutting, no, taken for heating, sorry, I beg your pardon. The hammers are normally having the furnaces for heating up of the cut blanks, which are normally oil fired, and no doubt the technology is fast moving towards now the gas fired furnaces. The press manufacturing, there are different capacity of presses, and the press manufacturing is something in which electricity is being used as an induction through induction heating medium to attain the forging temperature of a cut blank. As the forgings required gathering of material, the temperatures used are often 1250 degrees centigrade plus minus 10 degrees centigrade, or there are various standards and devised over a period of experience as to what should be the correct forging temperature and all that. Now, normally what happens is that this forging temperature has a relevance as far as the resultant forging is concerned coming out of that particular manufacturing press, because if suppose there is an excessive grain coarsening in the due to the high temperature in the forging process, then these core structures are very much difficult to be removed by any of the subsequent processes like normalizing or whatever may be process, right up to the stage of carbonizing, hardening, tempering, that is at the finished stage as far as the auto component is concerned, which is then directly assembled to the vehicle. Now, the various steps are, as we have already discussed, raw material storage and inspection. Now, this inspection is something which is of a vitally important part. Then we will talk about it later on, perhaps in my subsequent briefing to you. Then there is allotment of traceability code to the raw material. Now, what we mean by traceability is that the steel, the particular heat of the steel has to be identified all throughout this processing. You would wonder on the kind of the systems which forging industry and auto component industry as well as the vehicle manufacturing people, they maintain perfect traceability of each and every component, so that if in case there is any service failure, then one can track back to the final process of carbonizing, hardening, tempering, from which you can devise what were the parameters as far as the process was concerned, and the perhaps in certain cases there are code numbers given to the inspectors or the inspection staff of that particular process. Now, this traceability is something which is allotted to the machine component, maybe through some sort of markings or some sort of lettering. In lettering, normally what is required is the year of manufacture, the month of manufacture, the heat code for that particular specification, and all that. Now, next process is unit cut length cutting, that I already talked to you, and storing near the units, so that not much of the time or the material movement or the labor is involved as far as the shifting of the billets is concerned. Then there is die manufacturing. For the forging to be forged, there has to be a die. And this die manufacturing and inspection, it's a technology by itself. I mean, it's a vast technology. We'll be discussing about some of the things in my future interactions with you, or in my future discussions with you. Now, then there is a process, actual forging, manufacturing, and then trimming. Then the next process is pilot batch forging and approval. It is followed by bulk production and online inspection. Then it comes fettling, that is parting line material removal. Then it comes heat treatment. Then there is shot blasting and final inspection involved, followed by crack testing, spark and spectral testing, which is done to avoid the disastrous mix-ups which we have already discussed earlier. Then pre-machining and CNC machining. By pre-machining, I mean the input for the CNC machining as far as the auto component machining is concerned. Then there is a final heat treatment like carburizing, hardening, tempering, or nitriding, depending on the grades and the requirement of that particular product, and then it is followed by a dispatch. Now, these inspection processes are in fact quite vast. There are different inspections which are carried out at all stages of manufacturing of forging. Then it starts with raw material inspection and approvals, followed by visual inspection of raw material. Then it is cut blank inspection and weight inspections. Then there are die inspection, plaster cast, and inspections at the end of the run to ascertain whether there is any residual light left in that particular die. Then hammer setting inspections are there, the forging temperature inspections are there, the pilot batch approvals, online tempering and dimensional inspections are there, and these are always termed as hot inspection processes. Then the fettling inspection is obviously there, followed by HT furnace pilot batch inspection. Right. That is how the process is there. As far as the heat treatment is concerned, there is a polymer concentration inspection, there is quenching oil properties inspection. So basically, this is something which are the hardening mediums which are used quite in different forging industries or heat treatment shops for that matter. Then there is there is something which is called noting down of all the points during the production of these processes in the form of some sort of a points in the form of some sort of explanations in the remarks column of a typical loading sheet. Then there is 100% inspection of forgings in which normally it is checked for the scale pits or any abnormal sort of a extension of flash in the forgings, which is difficult to be removed, particularly after heat treatment. And so basically the process is followed that in the forging, once the forging is there, then it is something which is ground on the parting lines, and then only it is taken for heat treatment so that it doesn't cause any problem further cause any problem. Okay. Then this is polymer concentration inspections are also there, followed by quenching oil inspections as far as the parameters are concerned, like flash point, fire point, percentage residue, the moisture content of the quenching oil, which affects as far as the hardenability of the forging component is concerned. Then there are hardness checkings at the post heat treatment operation. Then there are microstructure inspections. Now I will be talking to you about all these inspections and the details of all these inspections and how it is to be carried out and what needs to be looked into and what sort of a care needs to be taken at each and every inspection. After microstructure inspections in the heat treatment, there is final inspection again. Then there are different audit inspections, different audit inspections. Then there are pre-machining inspections, then machining inspections, pilot batch inspections, online final and audit inspections, dock audits, and shipment audits. even for these dock audits, shipment audits, and all that, we will be discussing later on in my future interactions with you. The processes, I mean, the actual process of a forging manufacturing, there are various processes which are involved as far as the entire process flow is concerned. It starts with receiving inquiries from the customers, like let's say, just for an example, if Tata Motors want to have a particular gear, then they forward you the drawing and the specification and the end requirement of that particular product. So what we say as receiving inquiries, in which normally the quantities are mentioned, and that is, once you have that inquiry, then there has to be a feasibility review. Now, when it comes to feasibility review, basically it's a multifunctional sort of an activity in which the people from different departments, like steel procurement, and then die manufacturing, and then die designers, then heat treatment managers and final inspection managers, diamond inspection checking in charges, and all that, they sit together and study each and every area of the particular expertise which those guys are having. Now, it so happens that there are certain doubts or clarifications or this ability that we would be able to give up to this particular stage or in this form or with this dimension and all that. So what we call it as clarifications need to be sought from the customer, and this is something which is normally done through the marketing department of a forging industries organization. That is further, once all the doubts are clarified by the customer, then the job is taken up for further studies, in which there are APQP and FMEA. Now, FMEA is APQP is Advanced Product Quality Planning, and FMEA is Failure Mode Effect Analysis. I am very sure that now, with the advent of the industry in the 20th century, you guys are aware of the sort of these terms of APQP, that is Advanced Product Quality Planning and Failure Mode Effect Analysis. This failure mode effect analysis is something which is a very important process and needs to be done religiously, so that nothing in the process goes wrong. Basically, it's something which is that you foresee what problems you are going to have in your processing of that particular component, and accordingly take measures to ensure that that is something which is not repeated. Now, once the grade and the final product requirements are very clear to the metallurgy department, what they do is that they form the what we call it as raw material technical data sheets and quality plans. Now, this raw material technical data sheets gives all the parameters to the steel manufacturers as far as the chemical composition is concerned, the size is concerned, the basic Jomini hardenability requirements, if at all it is there, then the surface conditions and the mechanical properties are of paramount importance here as far as those are concerned. So they form a technical data sheet, which is then floated to a procurement man in the forging industry, who raises an order on the steel mills. Now, at this particular point of time, one can have what you can call it as draft quality plans. Okay. Now, these draft quality plans is something which you have to enlist what all you are going to check once the steel is received in the forging industry. Then the next process is ordering out raw material. So the procurement person orders out raw material depending on the commercial and the physical availability of the steel is concerned with the steel mills. Now these steel mills again are of two different types. One is something, there are certain customers who want a specific, who want that the steel should be procured from specific people, specific steel manufacturing processors such as ISMT or Mahindra Sanyo for that matter, which was earlier Musco, and Adhunik and maybe Sunflag in Vidarbha area and all that. So once the customer says that they would like to have material from that, it becomes binding on the part of the procurement person to order of steel from them only. Then once the steel lands, then there has to be a verification of steel mill TC in which you have to see that whatever you have indicated in your technical data sheet is something which is given by the manufacturer or not. Then the stage is approval of raw material. Now this approval of raw material is quite an extensive sort of an activity which is there in the full industry because all the parameters need to be checked. The main parameters which are required to be checked are chemical compositions, then the inclusion contents, the macros, that is internal soundness of the material, then Jomini hardenability and the response to the mechanical properties, then the step down test as far as the internal defects of steel billets is concerned. So it's quite an exhaustive sort of an activity which we will be discussing later on when we discuss metallurgy in further details. Then there is rejection, resolution and segregation in consultant with the steel mill. Now when rejection resolutions means that whatever sort of a non-conformity you have observed in your raw material supply during your raw material testing, that needs to be resolved with the steel manufacturers, technical people. Now these defects are something like in certain cases you can always salvage the steel by segregating, or else if there is a major failure as far as the quality is concerned, then it goes for remelting. I think for today it should be enough, and I will be again talking to you in my continuous and repeated sort of broadcasts, so that in which I will be trying to cover, in fact, all the details of the various processes which I have been talking about. Righto then, friends. Bye. See you. Good day. See you.